We think this will be a great space on Sunday morning. It could be used for one large adult class, or it could be used for two adult classes. We think it's a great space. It can be used for receptions, for memorial services. Might be used for receptions for some weddings. It's a room that if you're having a special event, you're having a dinner and a speaker, you could do it in here. There's table storage in here. There is chair storage in here. There's a small kitchen in here. At this point, we're going to continue to have these serving kitchens, and we'll continue to have these kitchens where we'll do a lot of catering and not preparing of food, but serving of food out of these kitchens. I will say to you, just so that we all know, long term, when we eventually build, let me go back one more. When we build the conference center building here, that's the point at which we will probably have a commercial kitchen. But then we might even have some kind of bistro or small restaurant or something in there. And that will be used in that way. It'll be a kitchen that would be used all the time and would be appropriate for that. But at this point in time, we think we will have a serving kitchen that will be appropriate to this gathering multi-purpose room. But a very large room gives us the ability to do all the kinds of things. All right, let's talk then, if we could, about this 4th and 5th grade room that's listed up the top, because I think that's really important space for us. So much so that we've actually done a different rendering on that to talk about the variety of things that we'll do in that room. One of the biggest populations in our church right now is a group called tweens. Tweens are basically 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders. A lot of these kids are kids that started in our church as babies, and now we've grown up. In our confirmation class this year, we had our first group of 6th graders who were literally born into this congregation and now have come all the way through our program in 12 years, 11 years, to the point of being confirmed. So we have a lot of children who in that 3rd, 4th, 5th grade have come up and through our church's ministry, and that group continues to grow. So much so that we, in the 4th and 5th grade area right now, we only have one Sunday school class for them. That's up here. If you look across the hallway, we have what we affectionately refer to as the beanbag room. Well, it's a great space, but it's not nearly big enough for all the 4th and 5th graders that we have. This allows us to move the 4th and 5th graders downstairs. The room that we're talking about has a large partition in it. It's very similar in size and shape to the youth room, if you've ever looked in the youth room. And we think it'll be a great space for Sunday school, but we also think it will be a great space in terms of being able to do this program that we call EDGE. If you're not aware, EDGE is a program that Kristen runs, our children's minister, once a month for 4th and 5th graders. It's basically a fellowship program, meets on Sunday afternoons for a couple of hours, and it's kind of a way in which we whet the appetite of those 4th and 5th graders for youth group. And so we're kind of getting them ready for youth group, and so they do a lot of fun stuff at EDGE. Here's the problem. Whenever Kristen has her 4th and 5th grade EDGE program once a month, most months she has about 75 to 80 kids that come. They don't fit in the 4th and 5th grade room. And so normally Kristen either has to do that program in the worship center, or if the weather's good, she'll do some of it outside. This will be a great space for that. Great big open space. Can be set up a lot of different ways, and you can just do a lot of different things in there. There's also a lot of storage in there as well. Now, here's the other thing that we know about our children's program and our tweens. We have a huge population of kids that are coming to our camps in the summer. Vacation Bible Camp, science camp, music camp, all of those things. And as we grow those programs, we need more space, and more space like this that can be used. And so this kind of space can be used in addition to growing our camps as well. The other thing is that we then have a really growing population of scouts. We currently have a Boy Scout troop that we sponsor. Troop 216 is our troop. They meet every Monday night. And Steve Davis, who is the scoutmaster, told me recently that they have about 100 boys in that troop. That means that most Monday nights they have 60, 70 boys, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders that are meeting in this room. I want you to imagine 60 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade boys in this room. It just doesn't work very well. And so one of the things that we've got is that we've got this great space for them to be able to meet, and it's space where they can store some of their stuff. It's also very accessible to the outside. One of the things I like about this room is that it also is self-contained. And what that means is it's got an exterior door, so it's easy to get in and out of. You don't have to say to somebody who's new, oh, well, scouts meet down the hall and up the stairs and at the back part of the building. You just come in and say, come to the southwest corner of the building, and you'll see where you come in. And then there's also restrooms in this building. So it's not a long way to the restrooms because they're actually in this room, and you have 2 restrooms at the back as well. What a lot of people don't know, though, is that in addition to our scout troop, we have 13 other scout groups that meet at our church every month. Daisies, Brownies, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts. And we could have more, but right now we say to them the only time we have space available for you is in the afternoon. So if your group can meet from roughly somewhere between 4:30 and 6:30, we can host you. But even then, we have to host them in a preschool room. We can't have them here at night because we have our regular scout troop on Monday night. We have ESL classes during the week. We have Bible studies, and we have church meetings going on. We have youth group. So this space gives us the ability to be more open to those scout groups and be able to schedule more of what we would call community groups that can come in and use this space and share this space. We know that there's a lot of people that their first introduction to our church is through something like this. They don't come first to church, they come to Scouts. And after they've come to Scouts, they think, well, this is a nice church. We ought to just think about going to church there. So this is a room in which we can begin, I think, to continue to open it more to the community, as well as service some of our large programs that are happening right now for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders. So this is the 4th and 5th grade room, or what we're now referring to as the tween room. And we think it's a really important room in terms of the ministry. I want to talk just for a moment about the steeple. This steeple is a beautiful feature in this particular phase of building. And what we know from some preliminary pricing is that this is going to be very expensive. One of the things you get caught up in a church like this is you start looking at your budget and you start looking at what it costs to build things, and you begin to say to yourself things like, you know, for what it would cost to build that steeple, we could build 5 more rooms. Well, isn't it more important to have 5 more rooms, or is it more important to have the steeple? Well, that's one of the things that we're having to deal with in this phase. We believe this beautiful steeple, though, is something that's going to make a statement about our church from now on. I've learned a very important lesson in the last few weeks about our church. I have a son that goes to Frisco High School. I live down here near the Albertsons down here just south of Main Street. So we are zoned to go to Frisco High School. Right now, the only way for me to get to Frisco High School is to go down Main Street to the Tollway Access Road, turn right, and then go to Stonebrook. What that means is that every morning at 8 o'clock, I take him to school. When I take him to school at 8 o'clock, the traffic on Main Street is backed up from the Tollway to Teal. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of cars that drive by our church every week, both going towards the tollway and then coming back from the tollway. This is what we know. We know that the number one way that people find our church is like most churches, is by word of mouth. Somebody tells them about Grace Avenue and that's how they find our church. But behind that, after that, the second way most people find our church is by driving by. The ability to have this feature, I think, is really important in terms of how we go forward, and I think it will make a statement. It's a beautiful steeple that at night it will be illuminated. These crosses will be illuminated from the inside. It'll be beautiful. I think you'll see it from a long way off. During the daytime, the cross on top will be very prominent, and I just think we're going to build buildings that will be much larger than the building we're building, but we will never build a building that is more prominently featured than this building. This building is going to set off our campus. This is, when people drive by from now on, even if there's buildings around to the east and buildings to the back, the building they're going to remember when they drive by is this building that we're building now. And so we have to kind of take that into consideration as we sort of stretch to do this project. This is not one of those features I want to lose, because it's a very important feature in terms of making a statement of our church and what we want our church to be about.